What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zoe with No Days Off DFS here to give you guys that 6-game NBA breakdown for the 6-game NBA slate. If you guys are new here, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content over here on the channel, and drop a like on this video if this video or any of my other videos help you guys win some money. I'm going to do something real quick on my screen to fix this. All right, there we go. Sorry, I keep looking this way and my OBS is right in front of me, and I hate whenever I do that, because then it looks like I'm looking off screen so much when I'm not. But I got DraftKings over on the other side now. So anyway, welcome to the channel. This is the channel you want to be to if you want to hear me ramble on about NBA. If you guys like my opinion and stuff like that, thank you. It means a lot. Enjoy having the viewership and everything. Been just rocking and doing this and whatnot for a little bit, so I'm gonna continue to do it. Big things coming for the year. I definitely look forward to continuing putting out content and stuff like that for you guys, and it means the world, especially the comments and stuff that I actually do get. A big shout out to my boy who continuously comments on my stuff. He saw the cameo of my wife yesterday, which was funny. That was her whole thing. But Raheem, thanks, man. I know you watch a lot of my stuff. Definitely one of the very few that follow me from WNBA over to NBA. So a big shout out to you. Thank you so much for the constant support. Does mean a lot to me. Definitely keeps me going on some days when I don't feel like actually doing anything at all for this. So we got a nice 6-game slate. Gonna go over the injury report. Quick recap of yesterday. Core did very well, especially for the fact of if you had Josh Hart, Karl-Anthony Towns, if you didn't fall into the Miles McBride trap, which the New York Knickerbockers went ahead and tried to troll everybody by having Miles in the starting lineup after lock. Boom, Miles isn't on the bench. Hey, let's start campaign. Everybody was screwed unless you went ahead and pivot straight to Cameron Payne, who was only 3K. You definitely were still able to cash. But luckily, Miles McBride was highly owned, so shouldn't have mattered either way for you. Definitely, I know it helped me just because I had Towns, I had Hart, so it worked out perfectly for me. It didn't matter. Over here, I posted 2 slips for NBA. Unfortunately, Josh Giddey, he's on the ban list for quite some time. He's looking like Josh Giddey from OKC, where he's looking lost, confused, defensive lapses, all that good stuff over there for them. Josh Hart, he blew that out of the water. Easy day for him. Jabari Smith Jr., never betting on him again for a rebound prop or any prop for that matter. He's definitely one of those players that I will firmly stay away from. Bam Adebayo, thought it would have been tough for him to go out here there and get 9 rebounds. Went out there, easy day, got it in the 4th. Jabari Smith, 2 rebounds. Hey, fuck a rebound. Don't want it. But made up for it with a couple of my live slips, which if you guys are sub to the Patreon, that is where I will be posting my live slips. First slip, boom, got it up. But then, of course, I have to start just typing out like, hey, taking this because I can't screenshot and post and stuff in time. So if you were able to get the Brogdon 6 assists, Isaiah Stewart 8 rebounds, boom, that slip cash, Josh Hart for 10-10, that cash right there. Wish I was able to get him for a triple-double. Was not able to, but that definitely would have hit. And then the late night hammer, late game, I went ahead, I pulled it up right before I went to bed. I was like, oh, Fox, he's balling. Tyrese Maxey, that's an easy day. He's going to be able to get those. Sabonis, he's definitely dishing the rock as well, especially a pretty good 1-2 punch with him and Fox. Boom, played that one right there at that cash as well. And all that right there is in the full recap. So definitely $4 or $5, I promise you, you will make your money back. You're not only getting my stuff, but you get my boy BK, who also drops a lot of stuff over here as well for not only women college basketball, but the NBA and hockey as well. So definitely check that out if you guys have not already done so. All right. Real quick, so we got 6 games, a couple of teams on a back-to-back. We do have some injury news that we have to pay attention to. Hopefully no one trolls us today. I personally feel like today is like a slate. Probably not gonna play as heavy as what I normally would on today, just because I'm not really getting that, yo, this is it. This feels good. I'm getting a temper your expectations, a couple of bet slips, things like that type slate vibes is what I'm getting from this, just probably because it's a lot of the teams that are, it's just it's ugly. First things first, we got Indy taking on Miami. No news really to pay attention to over here. Duncan Robinson was a game time decision yesterday. He played. I would just pay attention to if Jimmy is going to be in or out, because if Jimmy is going to be out, we might see Jaime back into the starting lineup, or Jovic, one of those 2 guys. But pay attention if they're going to actually hold Jimmy out from being on the back end of a back-to-back. Boston taking on Minnesota. Big 2 things over here is just that we have to know if Jaylen Brown is going to be in or out, or if Porzingis is going to be back. Both of those things, we should actually have those 2 games locked at 7:30, so we will know for sure by the time that comes down. Brooklyn taking on Milwaukee. Chris Middleton, game time decision. Just need to know if he's going to be playing or not, but he has been kind of flagged a couple of games now. And then Giannis, he's fully expected to play. On Brooklyn side, D'Lo, it says D'Lo starting lineup. Said the same thing I want to say yesterday, but D'Lo didn't start. He came off the bench. Would like to know if D'Lo does start. We do know they have kind of limited Ben Simmons minutes, things like that so far throughout the season. So if Ben is going to be held out, which we will check more of that over on the DraftKings blurbs, then we'll know whether or not if D'Lo will get the start, which wouldn't be bad. He balled out yesterday, defensive stats and everything too, assists, points, blocks, steals, all that good stuff. Cam Thomas, game time decision as well. Clowney, game time decision. We want to pay attention to both of those. Other than that, actually Cam Thomas is out. I don't know why it has Cam Thomas as a game time decision up at the top. Cam Thomas is out. For the Clippers, taking on OKC, no news really report for the Clippers. No news to really report for OKC. It's the same old Caruso. He's out again with his hip. Chet, same thing, hip. Philly taking on Golden State. Kelly Oubre Jr., he's going to be out. Joel Embiid, he should be back today. He was held out yesterday for the front end of the back-to-back. So I fully do expect for Embiid to play. Should honestly be barbecue chopped chicken going up against Tracy Jackson Davis. But this is not necessarily Embiid of old. This is Embiid of new, who is, he's so-so whenever he's out there on the court. So, but this is definitely a matchup that Embiid can truly take advantage of, going up against a smaller Tracy Jackson Davis. And Tracy, I ain't gonna lie, he's pretty decent when he's out there on the court. Draymond Green, he's fully expected to play. Steph Curry, kind of just like scratching my head on the game time decision tag for him, but I fully do expect for Curry to play. I definitely would pay attention to that. If we get word that we're gonna have to try to trust Dennis Cordeer again, just jump off a cliff. Portland taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. Jeremy Grant, he's going to be out. Danny Avdija back in the starting lineup. Outside of that, nothing to worry about over there for them. For the Lakers, Anthony Davis always shows up on the injury report, but normally he does end up playing. That's pretty much going to be it for them. Head on over to DraftKings site to play most on site. If you guys don't got an account, you want one, make sure you guys check the link down in the description below so you guys get that deposit bonus bonus. And join your boy over here on the King. All right, starting out with Indy taking on Miami. I'm going to tell you guys the truth. This game is just, I don't necessarily like it. Not just because Miami's on back to back. That has nothing to do with it. It's just, I don't know. Really, for me, if I was taking anything over here, I really do feel like Pascal Siakam 7,500. That's really cheap for what the floorish ceiling is. 30-ish fantasy points is typically what he can go out there and go and get for us. In the couple of matchups that he has played going up against them, well, versus them so far on the season, which I know he has actually, they've played a couple of times already. He's dropped in 30 minutes, 23 fantasy points, and in the second game, 35 minutes, 35 fantasy points. So pretty much a fantasy point per minute whenever he's out there going up against them. But he's playing some decent minutes, definitely getting the burn and run. 7,500, I could definitely take a stab at, look there if I wanted anything from the Indy side. But other than that, Halliburton, not really looking towards him. 8,200, looks like he's somewhat regressed a little bit over his last couple games. Yes, the assist upside is there, but if he's not scoring, he's not really going to get you too much. And 82, that's really too much for some other guards that we have on the slate. Tyler Hero, I could take a stab, but I typically don't like taking shooters on back to back. That's literally just me. Jimmy Butler, unless he's going to be getting the minutes, I'm not going to mess with Jimmy at 85. That's way too much. Bam Bam, I could see taking a Bam, definitely in contention, would keep me in your player pool. Not something I would rule out necessarily. Same thing for Miles Turner, GPP option at best. Baron Mathurin, I do love the upside for him, especially defensively. If Jimmy's going to be out, we already know shooter shoot, and he loves to shoot. He will go out there and check a ton. And depending on which way the game goes, if it's a blowout on either end, they do tend to leave Mathurin out there and let him go ahead and get his shots up. If Jimmy's out, I'd love have quite a bit of interest in Jaime Jaquez Jr., especially if he does get the start. That'd be really big for me. And then Highsmith, just simply because the dude's still in the starting lineup. I know he went out there, he laid a dud going up against Pelicans in 26 minutes, didn't have the best shooting night, really had his minutes limited out there, 9.75 fantasy points, but decent, especially if Jimmy is out. Those shot attempts will be there for him. That defensive upside, all that stuff will be there for him. Don't mind looking at him at 4,300. I do see some upside for him going right over there for him. Going over to Boston, taking on the Minnesota Timber Pups. Let's see, Jaylen Brown, shoulder list questionable for Thursday night against Minnesota. He played 25 minutes. He was icing his shoulder. All right, so he was just icing the shoulder after the game. So no real reason for us to think that he will be held out here in this spot. But if he is, then we do know that we're going to be wanting to get all of the Jaylen Brown, the Derek White. Those guys would be very much in high contention for the players that we want to actually get. So might be cleared to play if KP is not. Honestly, I'm not even worried about KP. I really don't want to even play him. It seems like every single time he gets out there, steps on the court, he seems to twist his ankle or something like that and gets injured. So not even worth it, especially not even for the price tag. But I will say, if Jaylen Brown misses, I have quite a bit of interest in Holiday as well. 4,900. The upside is definitely huge, especially if that shot is falling. He's been playing pretty well over his last 3 games, getting back in the rhythm. 20, 34, 29.25 fantasy points. All those games look very well. The defensive upside, 3-3-2-1-1, getting a steal almost in every single game. We know he can dish to Rock, go ahead and get a couple of assists, also go ahead and get some rebounds. All those things are there, and the upside is there definitely for Drew Holiday, and the matchup is not bad at all going up against Mike Conley and Anthony Edwards. We know he's going to have to be out there, especially for the defense on Ant as well. So like the upside for Drew Holiday at that 4,900 price tag, that is actually pretty decent. Now Derek White, also him as well. We already know shoot. He's going to go out there. He's going to be shooting as well. 16 points, 4 blocks, 3 assists, 4 rebounds. Stat sheet stuff for 7,100. If JB misses, this just catapults and vaults him up to being an even better play. Even if JB does play, I don't mind the upside for him at all. Definitely do feel like it's still going to be there at the end of the day. Now going out here for the Minnesota Timber Pups. For them, Anthony Edwards, not bad, but I will say this should be a defensive lockdown going up against Boston. Not the best position spot. I will say when he played them earlier this season, 39 minutes, he dropped 51 fantasy points. Not gonna say that's not gonna be able to repeat, but he has been having a pretty tough stretch over his last couple of games. OKC, San Antonio, and Houston kept them all underneath 40 fantasy points. Shoot, if we want to include Atlanta, Dyson Daniels did very well on him as well out there in that game. Looked like the Timber Pups might have been turning the corner, but looks like they're kind of reverting back to old. I will say Julius Randle, I don't mind going ahead and taking a stab and looking at his direction. Randle, he loves to take these tough behind shots, and 36 minutes going up against them earlier this season, practically put up a fantasy point per minute. The playmaking upside is there for him. The rebounding upside, whenever he actually wants to get it, it's there. And we already know he's going to chuck shots. It's really Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle. That's your 1-2 punch. That's what they hung their hats on whenever they made the trade. So, Randle, not bad. I really could see the upside, and we have seen opposing power forwards that kind of have a same archetype type build, get downhill, get themselves down to the basket, and he can somewhat stretch the floor. They've had decent games. Pascal Siakam, 43.5 fantasy points versus them. Patrick Williams for the Chicago Bulls, 32.25. Champagne, granted, that was just a crazy shooting night for him, 47 fantasy points. So the upside is definitely there for what Randle can go out here and do. Don't mind him. Do like the upside for what he can actually bring. Then if you want to take a sprinkle of the old man himself in Mike Conley, be my guest, but I'm not touching Mike Conley. If I'm going to be going to go play a dusty bag of bones, I'd rather play Drew Holiday over Mike Conley any day of the week. Going over to the Brooklyn Nets, taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. I shouldn't have to say this, but Giannis, he's in. Giannis, it's Giannis. No one's going to be able to guard him. It's Giannis. It's Giannis. That's it. 11-4. That's your stud that you want to pay up for. Definitely, I understand. You got LeBron. You got AD. Pretty good matchup going against Portland. You got Embiid on the slate, but Giannis, it's Giannis. Enough said. Now, outside of Giannis over here in this game, if D'Lo does get the start, I like D'Lo. I would be looking towards D'Lo. That price tag, not bad at all. 5,200, only 100 more than what he was yesterday. I don't see anything here for Ben Simmons. And this is the thing too. Ben got himself in foul trouble yesterday, so we got to see a pretty good run for D'Lo anyway when he was out there on the court. And like I said, the dude went out there, 2 blocks, 1 steal, 8 assists, 2 rebounds, 22 points. Was on fire. Said what's up, what's good. I'm here. I'm back. So definitely. D'Angelo Russell, 5,200. You cannot go wrong with that right there. Outside of D'Lo, I will say Claxton going up against the Bucks. I don't know what it is, but Claxton's been playing pretty decently. He does also have his point guard of old that did have a rhythm and flow with him back. So I could see the 1-2 punch, the pick and roll flowing very well between him and D'Lo being out there. Don't have to worry about big, clunky, clanky Ben Simmons who can't hit an outside shot at all, clogging up the paint in the lanes and stuff for him. So Claxton, do like the upside for what he can actually bring here in the spot. Going up against the Bucks so far this season, though, he has technically produced a very good fantasy point per minute in every single game versus them. In 22 minutes, he dropped 30 fantasy points. In 33 minutes, he dropped 51. In 31, he dropped 30 fantasy points. So it's definitely there. If they let him get the burn, the run, the minutes, I love the upside for what Claxton can go out here and do. Really just see it as still at 6,500. That's very good. And then last but not least, I am gonna have to mention Andre Jackson. If Middleton was to miss, I do like the upside for him. He's at 3,300. I want to say he's still getting the start, and definitely the production and upside could be there even more if Middleton was to miss in this game. Wouldn't mind looking towards him as a cheap value punt play. You see, last time he played Brooklyn in 23 minutes, he dropped 14.25 fantasy points. So not bad, decent, cheap option that you can get to on today. Giannis, last time he played Brooklyn, 38 minutes, he dropped 61.75 fantasy points. So like I said, it's Giannis, bro. It's Giannis. Los Angeles Clippers taking on my OKC Thunder. I'm going to be very, very, very honest. This game, it's going to be what is considered 2 of the better defenses in the league going up against each other. I have no interest in anybody from the Clippers. Now, that's bad. That's biased, of course. Take this with a grain of salt because I am talking about my team. OKC. I watch every fucking game. I can't help it. I find it hard to want to get up and pay up for James Harden. I already know he's going to have that Ludor defense on him. It's going to be very hard for him to go ahead and get the shots off. They proved that earlier in the first two meetings that they've had going up against them. In the first game, he dropped 52 fantasy points. And then in the second game, he dropped 44 fantasy points in those games. Scoring wise, James put up 12 points in the first game, put up 17 in the second game. It was the fact that he was able to get a shit ton of rebounds. The biggest difference that is from those first two games that we played going up against the Clippers. Now, when you look at it, we did not have Isaiah Hartenstein out there. We didn't have a big that could actually rebound. So that's why I am tempering my expectations on James Harden going out there just being the rebounding threat that he is, especially with Zubac clogging. You got two big bodies down there now clogging the paint, being able to get those rebounds, things like that. 9,100, I don't see myself paying that much for James Harden. Now, I will say 10-9 for Shea. Versus his former team, he literally puts belt to ass every single time he goes up against the Clippers. Like, it's done deal. It's on site whenever he sees them every single time. Last time he played them, he dropped 70 plus fantasy points going up against them. 45 points in that game. So upside is definitely there for Shea. 10-9 if I'm paying up for a stub besides Giannis, I will go up and I'll go ahead and play Shea. I will also say Isaiah Hartenstein. Love the upside for a Hartenstein, especially just going up against a big body center who I know is going to be in the paint, not necessarily be trying to stretch the floor and things like that. The rebounding upside, the playmaking upside, and of course just that little pop shot is there. Take him for his double-double over there on the books if you can go ahead and get it. He is pretty consistent in regards to getting that. Outside of that, if they give you his PRA line, if you can get that about like at 22, 23, 24, the upside is there as well for going ahead and taking that. I love the upside for that as well. That's another play that I'm eyeballing, waiting for it to be able to drop on FanDuel for me to actually be able to play that for the day. Now, if you are looking for some cheaper plays, if Queso gets to start, don't mind looking at Queso, decent spot for him. And then of course, Lou Dort, you already know he's going to be out there on defensive assignment on Harden. We know Harden plays very low defense as well. On the other side, if Dort's shot is actually falling, 4,200, that's another cheap value play that you can go ahead and get to. Like I said, I really don't like anything over there on the Clippers. I can entertain Norman Powell if you feel like he can get hot again, like what he did in the game prior. But other than that, maybe look towards some bench pieces like Coffee or something. But I'm not touching the Clippers personally on the slate. Going over to Golden State Warriors taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. Really, just need to know if Curry's going to play or not. I like Curry, 8,700. Really feel like that's kind of cheap for the babyface assassin. Definitely the upside should be there. Opposing point guards, maxi defense, I'm not worried about that. Paul George isn't going to be stuck to Curry or anything of the sort. So upside could definitely be there, especially if he's able to knock down a shot. Playmaking duties, all that other good jazz that he normally has. I really don't even understand 8,700. That's crazy. That's crazy. Steph Curry. Outside of Curry, though, I could see coming up 100 more for Tyrese Maxey. I will temper my expectation just because Embiid is back today. So I'm not going to go too heavy on him. But I definitely could see a world where if you wanted to pivot, you could mess with that. And then why does it say Embiid is out? Yeah, that was yesterday. I said, what? Embiid's not out. So Embiid should be playing today. Again, they held him out for rest. That was literally what they said. Yeah. Okay, so expect to be back in action. So 9,400, I like that. Like I said, the upside for what Embiid should be able to do going up against Tracy Jackson Davis, a smaller center, should be huge, especially if he's able to go ahead and get that drop step and everything that he has, getting himself to the free throw line. We know Embiid is a free throw merchant. If you can go ahead and get his free throw line over there on PrizePicks or anything like that, go ahead and take that. If they got him at like 7.5 or something, I would take definitely take that. We know Draymond Green gonna be out there fucking chucking, probably try to bust his mask off his face or something like that. So upside for Joel Embiid, like that. Don't hit it at all. Outside of that, everyone else, you can look to Draymond Green, 5,800, not bad. We know he's gonna get the minutes, but the main player you'll probably want to look to is gonna be that boy Jonathan Kuminga, who is on a tear. That's it. Enough said. Not looking to Dennis Schröder. No one else over there interests or tickles the whistle. Last but not least, Portland Trailblazers taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. If I'm looking at this game, anything that I'm taking, really, it's just going to be the main producers over here for the Lakers. Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Austin Reeves. Those three guys are literally the hub of what drives this. If I have to rank them, AD, as long as he's in, he should make Ayton look like a little boy out here. Like, he really should. First game going up against him earlier this season, he dropped 60 fantasy points in that game. 10-7. Not bad. If I had to choose between him and Embiid, I probably would lean Embiid for cash games and Anthony Davis for GPP, just because Embiid is cheaper. So I feel like people will gravitate down there towards that. Anthony Davis, Q tag, later game, up in the air. yeah, I would definitely do that right there. Outside of that, LeBron, you can definitely go there. We already know he's going to be out in court, high usage, everything, so on and so forth. But Austin Reeves, man, 7,200. The dude has been fucking balling. Like triple double upside almost every single game now for him. The assist. 10 assists, 16, 10. He has been since they put out the trade rumors and stuff about him. He has been snapping off every single game. I don't know if he's trying to up the trade stock or if he's like, yo, no, you need me. Enough said, Austin. I believe in you, man. I believe in you. From the flip side over here for the Portland Trailblazers, I can mess with Anthony Simons, 6,500, shoot. Even though Austin, he's been playing really great over the last several games, opposing point guards have actually had pretty good games. Now, I do say Anthony Simons, but outside of Anthony Simons, there's this dude that comes up off the bench. His name is Scoot. If that shot's falling and my boy balling, it's enough. 4,800, I'll go ahead and I'll take that right there. That'll be another play I can look to. And then the other young gun is Shaden Sharp. No Jeremy Grant out there to take up some shots and things like that. I could definitely see going to Shaden, but Scoot, I'm going to tell you guys right now, that is definitely a value play right there. What I would do, I would take up 2 spots from my line. If I would take Anthony Davis and maybe look towards like Simons or something like that. And just depending on if AD is in or out, if he gets ruled out, then you could pivot off of Anthony Davis. You can definitely mess with like taking Austin Reeves, LeBron. Like you'll be able to. I would take 2 spots for the later games just so I can get that Anthony Davis news right there. If you were looking for GPPs and things like that, but Scoot, man, Scoot. That's all I'm gonna say. That boy Scoot, man, he be balling out there, bro. That boy be balling. Be doing some crazy stuff. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me. Looks like I've gone through everything for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the content. Drop a like on the video if you guys did. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel so you guys don't miss any of the other stuff I got coming out for you guys. Good luck to everybody. Hopefully you cash out on DraftKings, FanDuel, whatever site you're playing on, and go ahead and make some money. Peace.